Hey kids, so I thought I'd take a minute and describe how I started my program www-ssc. Walk, water, weigh yourself every day, reduce your salt, sugars, and other carbs. And it's relatively easy, but I wanted to take a minute and describe how I started. Maybe it will help you or someone you know. So basically, 5.5 years ago, I was not quite 300 pounds. I was, at one point, 3 pounds from 300 pounds, but I got to Hong Kong and I realized I don't like walking behind everybody else, and I realized I'm waddling to meetings. I'm not walking, I'm waddling side to side. I have a client, and when I came back after 6 months, she imitated me. This is how you used to walk. And she starts waddling across the room. That's how bad it was. I was so fat, so out of shape, and not happy, of course. We're not happy when we allow ourselves to get overweight. And that's one of the reasons that we get overweight, is we aren't happy with other things. So there's a lot of psychology in why we're heavy. There's a lot of psychology in getting that weight off and keeping it off. So anyway, that's how it started. I got to Hong Kong 5.5 years ago. Never forget, March, actually, yeah, March or February, I don't know which it was now, but anyway, I got over there, and of course I thought, before I left, I thought, I'm not going to have American food when I get there, so I'm eating giant cheeseburgers, and I still eat cheeseburgers, but I was eating just so much food. It was unbelievable. I was eating like I was never going to eat again. I don't know what we think. We as Americans think that, nothing's westernized. And there are places that aren't. And I have to say Hong Kong is much more westernized now, today, 5.5 years later, than it was then. But that's not really what happened, because I was eating, I could eat plenty of food, everything. It didn't have anything to do with where I was, other than I realized I did not want to be this weight any longer. I did not want to waddle to meetings any longer. I did not want to be fat any longer. And I wanted to enjoy the rest of my life. So however long that is, we don't know how long it is. It could be an hour, 2 hours, six days, we don't know. 6 years, 60 years, we don't know. But the point here is, however long it is, and my goal right now is 93 years old is my goal, and anything after that is a bonus. And so my goal is 93 years old right now, and time goes fast. So I didn't like the lifestyle I had. I didn't like waddling to meetings. I didn't like being the last, walking somewhere, waddling, and pants not fitting, clothes not fitting. I bought some clothes before I went there that were larger. So how it started is, I made up my mind I was going to change, and I thought through all the different things that I've tried before. We see the Stop the Insanity program, we see the Weight Watchers, we see the Atkins. I did Atkins. I lost 43 pounds on Atkins, and then I ballooned way up, just like everybody else. We get into this yo-yo syndrome where we gain more weight than we lost, and we keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And part of it, there are just a variety of reasons. But right now, today, all I want to focus on is how did I start, so that maybe it will help you or someone you know. How did I start? I started by not liking the situation I was in. I started by making up my mind, that is it, I'm going to change so that I can enjoy my life. My mind was already, I already knew I was getting out of a bad marriage, and I already knew that once I do that, I want to meet someone that maybe a soulmate, maybe whatever. We want to meet somebody, and in the process, we will be meeting other people. Well, it's going to be a lot easier to do that if you're in a little bit better shape. In my case, I was able to meet people for whatever reason, even when I was heavy. It didn't matter. People say, oh, you carry your weight well. I don't really carry my weight well. It's just an excuse people give you to make you feel better. I look terrible. I have photos. I'll post them or add them into videos later. But I have photos of how big I was. So it was so bad. After I started losing weight, we went to immigration one day to go to China from Hong Kong. We had to have a visa to go across. And so we had gone, I had started losing weight, and after like a couple of months, we're going across this one time, and the immigration officer looks at my passport, looks at me. As a matter of fact, I have that passport right here. Let me find that. I'm pretty sure I have it in my bag. Let me get the bag. My briefcase is always here next to me. Yeah, here it is. Here's my old passport. I just happen to have it. So this is not planned, but so I get to immigration after like a month or 2 months of weight loss. Not very long, because it was coming off pretty fast. 1.5 pounds a day is basically it. So the immigration officer looks at my passport, and then he looks at me, and I was a little bit younger 5 years ago, but he looks at that passport, he looks at me, and then he looks at Melinda, who was just a traveling companion and girlfriend at the time, and he says, "Is this really him? Is this Chinese guy?" He says in Chinese, "Is this really who he says he is?" And so I actually, you see these holes in the passport, I actually had to go, and this has my visa in it for Hong Kong, my work visa. I actually had to go to immigration, or to the consulate, U.S. consulate, apply for a new passport, because I had lost so much weight in such a short period of time that I was now not recognizable, and they didn't consider this to be a valid photo and passport ID. So they thought maybe, whatever. So she said, of course, yes, it's him. He just lost a lot of weight, and then he was amazed, So that's how it started. I got to Hong Kong. I didn't like the way I was walking. I didn't like the way I couldn't walk. Hello, Roger. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. I was just explaining how I had to get a new passport because of the weight loss when I was in Hong Kong. And so I didn't like my lifestyle. I didn't like how I was living, and I had thought, through all these different programs I've been on, the Atkins thing, so on and so forth. And I picked out all the good things, and I tried to figure out what is it about it that makes us get off of these programs. Well, the first thing that it is we deprive ourselves. And so what I did is I turned that around. I said to myself, okay, I can eat whatever I want to eat as long as I reduce my intake a little bit, increase my activity a little bit. I can basically eat whatever I want to eat. But also, having known the information in the Atkins program, and of course, who doesn't like Stop the Insanity program? That's a great program. I forget her name, but she was really good. She's very motivational. But when you don't have that motivational person there, sometimes it's not easy to stay on these programs. And so the Atkins thing, the one thing I learned was good carbs, bad carbs, how you can eat what you want. It isn't about eating vegetable. You need to eat vegetables. I don't eat enough. But it's not about becoming a vegan and not eating fat. It's not about any of this stuff. That's all garbage. And the original Atkins books are the best ones, because when he died because he fell on the ice like we have here today. He fell on the ice, hit his head, and he died as a result of that. He didn't die because of his program. He died because he hit his head, got a blood whatever in his head, and bleeding, and died. So, but Atkins had done a lot of research, and those first books are invaluable. I want to get a hold of one again. I had one that was all highlighted and everything. So the big thing about the Atkins books is it shows you in there the good carbs, the bad carbs. For an example, real simple, I used this the other day in a video. One of the worst desserts, if you're at a party, we have to make decisions, right? We want to eat, we want to participate in the party, we want to eat the food. It's great food, why wouldn't we? So one of the worst things we can choose to eat it, but it's one of the worst things that I like is apple pie. One of the best things to choose when you're at a party is the chocolate cake. The chocolate cake with the icing. Now, you can have extremes of that too and really get carried away. But just a basic chocolate cake, have a nice piece of chocolate cake, about 2 inches square, maybe 2 of them, whatever. But that's a better choice than the apple pie. Now, a couple years ago when I went to Dave Fowler's house for Thanksgiving, he had pies and all kinds of nice food, and I loved it, and I had several helpings. It's not about what we can't do. It's not about depriving yourself. Never deprive yourself. That's probably one of the biggest things, one of the biggest mistakes people do is they tell themselves, first of all, they use the wrong word. They use the word diet, the 4-letter word I never use. Never ever speak that word. I'm using it now so we don't have to waste time, but never use that 4-letter word, because psychologically we're telling ourselves we're going to deprive ourselves. We're telling ourselves we're not changing our lifestyle. We're going on a program that's called a diet, and I can't eat this stuff. Well, that's psychologically self-sabotaging. Never use the word. You're not on a diet. Your lifestyle is one that will maintain your body size the way you like it, the way you were when you were 18 or 20 or 21, something like that. And that's also what I did as I thought back, okay, at what point in my life was I comfortable with my body weight? What was I doing? What was I not doing? What am I doing differently now? So there's just a lot of things. Partly you were happier then. I was. Also, we need to talk about, the influences that we're around cause a lot of problems. Overeating, it causes us to be unhappy, it causes depression, it causes a lot of things that go along with this. So part of a positivity program, part of being positive and positivity goes along with this program of simply walking, weigh yourself every day, walk every day, and water yourself every day. And reduce the salt, reduce the sugars, and the other carbohydrates. Reduce them. That's part of reducing our intake. I don't count anything. I never did on this program. Since I started 5.5 years ago, I have not counted anything. I refuse to look at calories. I don't want to look at calories. It's all meaningless. What matters is taking in slightly less on the weight loss, taking in slightly less than you burn, and on the maintenance is taking in about the same amount as you burn. It's that simple. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. It's that simple. So we have to get active. It started with me not liking the way I couldn't walk, not liking the fact that I was waddling to work. I couldn't bend over. I couldn't look right in clothes. I didn't feel comfortable at all. So that's how it started. And then what did I do? Okay, I started to cut down my intake, and then I started to get active. What was active for me? Well, I was not active, so any activity was an improvement. So what I did, I remembered, okay, Bruce Jenner said before the surgery on the Special K box, find something you like to do and do it every day. Sounds pretty simple. And that's years ago. I used to play racquetball, and I did that. And the problem with racquetball is you need a partner. And when your partner doesn't show up, that's a great excuse to not have to play. So I would do the treadmill in the morning, and then some days I'd do the treadmill and then go play racquetball. I started to get pretty good at racquetball. Not good enough, but I got into a tournament and got beat really badly. I didn't score 1 point. But the point here is we get on these programs, we get on these health kicks when we're younger. They work as long as we work it. But what does it do? What do we do when we get older? We have to do things that we like to do. I get bored really, really easy. It's a wonder I'm on this video this long. So I have to do something I like. I really don't like walking in the United States. It's terrible. It's so long. It's so boring. There's nothing to look at. I love walking in Hong Kong because there's always something to look at. People all around. Even though I go past the same thing every day, it's always different. And I run into people I know. So it's a lot more fun. But how did I start? I started just walking a little bit more each day. First of all, I lived up on a hill, so I had to walk down the steps to go to the office in the morning. I had to walk back up those steps to go back to the apartment. One of the guys that worked with us was much heavier than me, much more out of shape, and I think still is. I hope he's not, but I think he probably still is. But he would take a taxi, and once in a while I would do that. Take a taxi for $2.50. No, excuse me. $2.50 in US dollars to go from the office up and around the hill to Hollywood Road to our apartment. That's the epitome of lazy. That's, once in a while I would do that, but also he had a back problem, so I'm not saying he's lazy, but that's the epitome of lazy for me. So what did I do besides that? I started to play darts, believe it or not. I didn't play darts. I didn't know how to play darts. All my darts ended up on the floor. So the idea of throwing 3 darts 8 feet away from the wall, having to walk over and then bend over, pick up those darts wherever they are. Some I lost and never did find them. The darts bar owner never found them. But anyway, I've lost darts, and those are just plastic tip darts, an electronic machine where I started, and all those darts would miss. And then finally I had people show me how to do it. And even though I have a bad hand, I don't have flexibility with this hand, I found that I could play and throw different than everybody else and throw them higher. I play like over my head. Most people play at eye level. I play up here because of my wrist, broken wrist. So I overcame that challenge, and I was just determined to spend my time playing darts and trying to learn that, because it was a bit of a challenge and I didn't really want to do some other things. So that kept me busy, and then I would start to play and throw like 200 darts a night or something. I'd play until I got tired. I would get sweaty and tired, and I would just throw darts and start playing games against other people, colleagues, so on and so forth. And I got actually not too bad at it. So I can win when I want to, but I have to concentrate. Just like our weight loss, we have to focus and we have to concentrate. So this is why, what did I do? I said, what are we going to do in the morning? We have to have a program. We go to bed at night. That's the end of our day. In the morning, what are we going to do? We're going to weigh ourselves every day. That's the first thing you have to do. Take accountability for where we are. Weigh yourself every day. That starts it right there. That puts the program in your head. That programs your mind to what you're going to do. Weigh yourself every day. Face reality. Did I gain? Did I lose? What did I do? And then think back. What did I eat? Don't write this stuff down. You don't have to write it down. You know what you ate. I know what I ate, usually. Ribs, whatever. I eat whatever I want to eat. The thing is, don't gorge ourselves. Don't go to buffets, or one of the worst things you can do. You pay that $25 and you think you got to get $600 worth of food. That's another terrible thing. Don't ever do that. I did it recently, and it was the biggest waste of money. I felt, as soon as I gave the girl my money, I thought it was, a mistake, and I wanted my money back. But anyway, I ate what I could eat, and what I chose to eat, because all that stuff on that buffet is crap, right? Face it, it's crap. So that's how I started. I didn't like not being able to walk. And in the snowy weather, it's a little bit more difficult, but we have to find ways to get active. The more things we do, the more we want to do, and the less we do, the less we want to do. It's really that simple. But psychologically, we self-sabotage. We do a lot of things to undo our progress. One of the things is using that word diet. Never use it. Never use it. Don't count calories. You know what's good and bad. Start to study a little bit. Get the Atkins book. Read the good carbs, the bad carbs. Study that. Highlight the things that you like that are maybe better choices. And that's what I did. Highlight in Atkins book the carbs that you like. Look, a slice of bread is 22 carbs. You know that. I have 2 slices in the morning. If I want to reduce, I cut down to 1 slice. Atkins explains it very well. If you want to start to reduce carbs, leave the ketchup and the tomatoes off your sandwiches at the fast food places. Take the tomatoes off. Once, when I was on the Atkins thing, the one thing I would do is I did exactly what he said. Take the toppings off of the pizza, throw the bread away, eat the toppings, eat the cheese, eat the tomato sauce, eat the sausage, eat the pepperoni, eat all that stuff, the onions, the peppers, eat all that stuff, but throw the bread away. The bread is a killer. We know that, but we all love bread. Of course, you know I love French toast. Belinda, thanks for tuning in. Belinda made some great French toast with artesian bread recently, and it was great. Thank you. So, that's how I started. Changing, doing some thought processes as to what was good and bad about all these other programs. The South Beach, every program has its points, but we have to change our lifestyle in order to do it every day. Every day. Eat 3 meals or 6. 6 meals is better. But most people don't even eat breakfast. They're already off. I skipped breakfast the other day, the day of the funeral, the day of my ex-wife's mother's funeral. I skipped breakfast for some reason. I think because I was busy ironing my clothes. I don't know. So what did I do? I stopped at the convenience store just before I got to the church, and I bought a Snickers and a 3 Musketeers, which is good. A Snickers is good. A Snickers will fill me up a little bit, and then just a small one, not the giant Snickers. Come on, stay with me. I carry the little mini fun size Snickers in my truck or my bag or my briefcase. so that I always have something if I'm running late or stuck in traffic or whatever, so that you have something so that you don't get that big hunger thing going and then you can't satisfy yourself. So that's what I did the other day. But not having breakfast, I noticed by the time the meal came after that service, I was really hungry. And it was because I didn't have breakfast. I was off my routine. It's a lot about routine, and we don't like routines, most of us. We like to just kind of wing it. So do the same things every day. Weigh yourself, drink more water. I have water right here. I used to just use a juice bottle and fill that juice bottle with water, and I need to do the same thing now because I'm really not drinking enough water. I'm drinking too much coffee and not enough water. So that's kind of how I started. I didn't like where I was, and I was determined I was going to change it. I was going to enjoy the rest of my life and, of course, get out of a bad marriage. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for tuning in. Hope it helps. So, yeah, just getting active. My simple activity was, since I couldn't really walk because I was too heavy, I started to play darts. Bend over, pick up those darts, go back, throw those darts again. They'd all go on the floor. And I enjoyed the sport after I got to learn how to play it. And it wasn't as good of it's still a good weight loss. It's still a good aerobic exercise. It's not really heavy. It's not hard on your back. But when you're heavy and overweight, it is hard on your back. And you do get muscle cramps and things like that. So as simple as it sounds and as stupid as it sounds, darts actually played a big role in learning how to play darts, played a big role in me being able to lose the weight, the 60, 70 pounds initially. 60, 70, 80 pounds, depends on where you want to start, but I was at once 3 pounds from 300 pounds. That was my highest. I don't think I ever looked, but I knew I didn't want to go past 300, and decided to make it work this last final time 5.5 years ago. So hope it helps. I'm doing these live videos so that I can upload them to YouTube, and after 24 hours tomorrow I'll be able to go live on YouTube. So if you want more tips, because there's so much to say, so much to describe, so much to talk about, if you want more tips, just follow me on YouTube, Tyghe, Tyghe, Tyghe Lifestyles, and that's where these lifestyle videos are going to be. And if you have a group, a church group or whatever, and I'll try to watch my language, and I can come in, I'll be happy to come in and talk to the group about, what to do, how to do it, and what not to do. I think sometimes it's like relationships. We have relationships that are bad, and then we know what we don't want in the next relationship. And weight loss and weight management is the same thing. After a while, we know what we didn't like about the last thing. We didn't want to go to the gym. We don't want to see those people. We're lazy, and we'll drive to a gym and fool ourselves for a couple of weeks, but we won't work around the house. We won't do the things around the house, but we'll go pay a gym. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. And my friend used to say to me, just do a little bit and then do a little bit more. And, he would say this kind of the same thing I'm saying now. And I was so out of shape and so fat, I just didn't want to do it. I thought, well, tomorrow. And when you get to a certain age, you realize you don't have too many tomorrows. Today may be the last tomorrow there was. So that's how it was for me. Hope it helps. I'm going to go off this video for now and chat with you later. Follow me on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a great day.